on how this works, right? So, as usual, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So, we want to look at meditation, quality, type of meditation. Meditation in itself is just being aware, right? So let's just get the basic definition right. It means to be aware, to become aware of your breath, to become aware of your sound, to become aware of your present, your sensations, allows the awareness to experience this present moment, right? There's no judgment in it. So the mind doesn't come into it. The ego doesn't come into it. So when I say the mind, I'm normally referring to the ego, right? So the process begins with illness, has to begin with a point at which you have to question life. Because otherwise you've been asleep like everyone else has, and we just go through this ignorant way of living, eat, sleep, entertain ourselves, and then die with a lot of stuff around us, right? That's pretty much the way we tend to live generally. But then we encounter, as we're living, we encounter these hardships. And these hardships are your dose of medicine, right? So the first thing is to change your language. So when you come across depression, depression is so close to nirvana. So nirvana is the end result, we can say, through your meditative process, right? Nirvana. But depression's the other side of it. Depression. So in depression, everything loses meaning. In nirvana, nothing has meaning. Do you understand? When you see that everything is temporary, when you see that all is change, when you realize that nothing can be held on, when you realize all existence exists as an expression of duality, yeah, black, white, up, down, male, female, whatever you want to look, the two polarities, that's the way it works, right? That's the way it works. And it's a flowing. And you have no choice but to be in it. You have no choice. That's the other thing. You're actually stuck. Think about it. You can't exit. And even if you thought, okay, I know what, I can go, and there are people who commit suicide, that they exit. Do you exit when you're asleep? No. Still there. Still. Do you exit when you're dreaming? No. There is no exit. That's the first understanding, that there is no exit. So what's the point? Well, meditation and that bit becomes relevant. The fact that there is no exit allows you to grow, and your awareness, your consciousness flourishes. It kind of grows like a plant, tree, experience a bit of compassion, self-compassion. You have buds, you have flowers, you have fragrance with the flowers, you have fruits, and then you become what you began with. Right? So it's like a flowering. That's what meditation allows the human being to do. But to get there, we have to go through depression or some kind of life event which is associated with mental anguish, anxiety, stress, depression, questioning, existential crisis, dark night of the soul, that kind of thing. Once you get there, you are then introduced to meditation, because then you think, I've got to do something about it. So in the traditions, when you come across udasi, when you come across depression, you normally say to the person, congratulations, because now you can change your life. And once you reframe it, your whole process begins to then change according to that reframing. If you look at it as depression, then you hold on to the label with the symptoms, and there are other consequences we can talk about. So, all right. So you come across meditation. And if you come across good meditation, then the depression, anxiety, stress will go. Depression is the consequence of feeling trapped. All right? So let me deconstruct depression. Depression. You go to your doctor, you tell them you've got these symptoms. I can't sleep, I'm irritable, I feel hopeless, I feel sad, I feel agitated, I'm really nervous, a number of other symptoms, put them together. And if you've had them for a couple of weeks, and depending on the intensity, they are going to look at this as mild, moderate, extreme, or extremely severe depression. So it's a bunch of symptoms that you put together and you give it a label. They don't look at the symptoms, they look at the label. So they're not treating the symptoms, they're treating the depression. First understanding. You can't treat a label. Anyway, we'll go a bit further. The question arises, what makes these symptoms occur? And what makes it occur is your mind-body connection. When you feel stressed, when you feel under threat, when you feel you have become a victim of your own thoughts or circumstances around you, partnership, marriage, work, whatever it is, and you feel trapped, you go into the flight fight response. That flight fight response system changes your heart rate, your blood pressure, your cortisol, your adrenaline, your noradrenaline, another 130,000 different changes. Nervous, electromagnetic, physical, biological, biochemical, all of those happen like that. They create the symptoms. If you've got glucose running in your body, if you've got sugar running in your body, then the chances are you're going to be feeling a bit jittery. The chances are you are going to be a bit wide-eyed. The chances are you aren't going to go to sleep because there's all this energy, all this sugar running through you. The same thing would happen if you had, some sugar before you went to sleep. So we begin to realize that as a result of meditation, we recognize the patterns of our mind, the thought process, and we begin to step out of it through present moment by becoming aware of our breath, sound, sensations, that kind of stuff. Then we go a bit further and we begin to experience qualities of that meditation. And that's where we go. So we go into stillness, silence, timelessness, the quality of your experience, right? Not what we're saying, the quality of your experience. This is a different space. In this space, your body begins to heal. Because we are predominantly focused on well-being and health, your body begins to heal, your mind, your thought processes, your breathing, your heart rate becomes synchronized, especially when we do the heart coherence stuff. So that's the second stage or third stage, where the body is starting to become influenced by what you're doing. In a way, it's no longer mental, that you are in a mental stress state or anxiety state. They come and go, but you know how to manage them. Now you move into second. As you grow through this process, the next bit is to do with compassion. You're going to start looking at yourself in very different ways. At the moment, you will probably sacrifice your life for another, blind, because you love them or you care for them, which is very noble and beautiful and should be the way we live our life. However, the expense is that in doing that, we become the martyr. We become the martyr. And we wake up one day realizing, where did my life go? And this creates then another set of crises. Existential crisis. Existential crisis. For women, normally I've noticed it happens twice in a life. For men, it tends to happen once in a life. But when this existential crisis comes, we need a way out. Now, where we are is at a rebirth process. Here, we want to reborn. We want to get rid of the old, and a new birth needs to take place. So you will find that as, in particular, with seasonal changes, when women reach maturity, you will find the symptoms of suicide increase. Why? Because it's the time of rebirth. It's the time of that rebirth. If the body and the mind does not align itself to the natural cycle of existence, we will suffer. That suffering is to wake you up a little bit, saying, hey, you need to align yourself. You need to align yourself. So Now we're moving into a meditation space where we are starting to deal with our identity. And that's a big thing. If I've lived with an identity that I have cultivated as a father, as a son, as a mother, as in a particular way, and solidified it, and then all of a sudden that disappears, what happens to me? What happens to my sense of self? And no wonder people get into anxiety, depression, because at that point, you don't know what the hell's going on. Because your identity has been removed from underneath you, right? Not for of your doing, circumstances. And it can happen with anyone. Now, it would have been useful to have been educated about the ego. It would have been useful. Had we had some understanding that we have this constructed sense of self, which we call the ego, the mind, it's always active, it's always trying to prove itself that it exists, but it's not you, it's not your essence. You have one mask, actually, we have several of them collected together that we call this is my personality, this is who I am. And then all of a sudden, the rug gets pulled. What happens to our personality? Well, it goes through grief, goes through a process of death, goes through a process of change, despair, questioning. If I did this, would I be able to go back to that? If I did this, so with men, they tend to buy fast cars, they tend to go through all of that, reinventing themselves, right? Reinventing the ego. Has to reinvent itself. If we have some education of that, some understanding of experience, so all this stuff that's going on in me actually isn't me as my essence, but it is the expression of me at the moment through the thoughts, actions, behavior, intention, etc. So, with a little bit of education on the sense of self, on identity, then these symptoms might have been mitigated somewhat because you know how to go through the process. And the process, whether you like it or not, we're all going to go through. Yeah, like the process of death, very similar. So that's a different kind of meditation. Because with that meditation, which is very similar to the one that we do, the second one, but we need some understanding. Because meditation on itself, by itself, isn't enough. It's never enough. You need the wisdom that goes with it. Right? So that's like the map, the territory. Meditation is learning how to walk. And then as we mature emotionally, we get to this place of personal ethics where it doesn't matter. The whole world can say, I'm going to do this, but you can say, no, I don't think I'm going to do it. And it doesn't matter, doesn't face you. And we saw a lot of that a few years ago. Saw a lot of that, where people had to make that sovereign choice. Where am I in myself? Where am I in myself? In that process of growth, of maturity, the meditation now we go towards spiritual intelligence and spiritual vision, transpersonal compassion and transpersonal gratitude. At the moment, most of us, we say, well, let's write a bit of a gratitude diary. Say, well, I'm grateful, I've got a lovely car, I'm grateful. Yeah, there's an assumption that there's a you that has some ownership of something. There's a you that has ownership of something. I have things. I'm well fed, whatever it is. But once the dawning dawns and the realization happens, this is where spiritual vision and spiritual intelligence are the two elements that wake up. Different meditation now. Because now you are looking at things in a very different way. So the meditation needs to accompany that. Right? So there are different things that we try and introduce. So the stuff that we do here, we tend to fluctuate. Yeah, we'll add a bit of heart coherence, a bit of breath stuff, body scan, just to become aware of what's going on, but always try and end up in that silence and stillness, because that's where it really starts become more meaningful in our process. Okay, I think I've told you enough about meditation. So Right. Okay. So, um, meditation. One of the things someone just reminded me that you've missed the Pali word simrti. Sorry, Sanskrit word simrti and Pali word samasati. I think could be wrong. I'm not a linguist. You know what it's like. Um, and Simran means to become present. But then there's another element to it, the way we use sound. So when we use sound, Simran, that's another way of doing it, Nam Simran. The one end of the spectrum of Nam Simran is where we use a sound synchronized with the breath and we listen to what we're doing. And that we are using a frequency to start looking at our body as well. So that's another one. So thank you, Manny, for reminding me of that. Okay, so we'll go with our regular practice. So as usual, so let's get our intention right, so, or our intention accurate for ourselves. So in sitting, not right now, right this moment, if we can have a simple intention that all we want to do is to be present to our experience in the moment of now. And the way we're going to do this are by focusing on those things that are happening right now. So the first thing that's happening right now is your breath. So if you bring your focus just beneath your nose, you'll notice that the breath is happening in the moment of now. If you open your awareness to all the sounds around you, you will notice that you can only hear this sound in the present moment. Okay? Sound can only be heard in the present moment. And on your next breath in, if you bring your focus to your body as a whole, and begin to notice the senses. Just sense your body. Notice the sensations that are present within you. And those sensations can only be present in the present moment. So if there's a pain, if there's an ache, there's an itch, there's a tightness, it can only happen in the present moment. See if you can notice anything within the body. So our intention is to be present. Our attention is all those things that are happening in the present moment. And our attitude is non-judgmental. And all that means is we enter our space with a little smile. Next breath in, bring your focus to your seat. And notice where the body makes contact with the chair or your seat. Present moment. Notice how you're held in place, embedded. Can't move forward, can't move back. Embedded in the moment of now, with everything else. and with everyone else. Like infinite number of waves on the same ocean at the same time. Notice the ground that holds you in place. Notice the environment that you're in. If you feel warm, if you feel cool, it can only be experienced for where you are, embedded, embedded in the here and the now. Notice your back is straight and upright. Notice that the shoulders are not hunched. Shoulders, arms, hands, comfortable. As you breathe in again, bringing your focus as best as you can to the sensations where your body makes contact with the seat you're on. Allow this awareness to move up from those sensations towards the hips. Remember, all you're doing is just noticing what's going on in the present moment. No judgment, no commentary. As you breathe out, move this focus down your thighs towards your knees. From your knees, you move down towards your ankles. Notice your feet. Notice the soles of your feet. Coming back to the seat you're on. Allow your awareness to move up your back very gently, from your lower back moving up to the middle back. And as you scan your body, you will notice that it begins to soften and relax. From your middle back, you move up towards your shoulder blades. Notice your shoulders. From your shoulders, moving down to your elbows. From your elbows, moving to your wrists. Notice the palms of your hands. Notice your fingers. Bringing your focus towards your eyes now. Notice the darkness, the fact you can observe the back of your eyelids. As you breathe out, allow this part of the body to soften and relax. Next breath in, bringing your focus to your mouth. Notice the sensations within your mouth. The roof of your mouth. Notice the tongue. Does it feel firm or soft? Allow it to soften. Notice the lips. And as you breathe out, allow your face to relax. On the next breath in, coming back to your body again. Once again, sensing it. Notice if there's anything dominant. Next breath in, bring your focus to your chest. Begin to notice the movement of your chest in rhythm with the breath. Holding your focus at your chest. Now moving your focus a bit deeper, as though it's in the center of your chest, center of your body. Hold your awareness there as best as you can. Just focusing at our heart center, synchronizing our breath, allows the mind, the breath, and the body to align itself. Hold your focus within yourself, waiting to notice how you're actually feeling right now. How does this moment feel? Is it enough? Does it feel settled? Does it feel unsettled? Important to know where we are within ourselves. Is this moment enough? And on your next breath out, begin to listen to the sounds that are around you. Allow sounds to come to you. Gently bring your focus beneath your nose. Begin to notice the breath. Allow your breath to breathe by itself. Notice the in-breath coming in, notice the out-breath going out. When you find that your focus has drifted, you've started thinking, notice the distraction, bring your focus back to your breath. Using the breath as your anchor to hold you in the present. Notice the in-breath moving in, notice the out-breath moving out. Stay with your breath, being present to the moment. Notice that your breath has four parts. The in-breath that comes in, stops, there's a gap. Out-breath that goes out, stop, there's a gap. See if you can notice these four parts of your breath. Begin to follow your out-breath all the way till the end and notice the little gap. Allowing your awareness to merge with your breath. Notice exactly when it finishes, your out-breath. Notice how long that gap lasts. Following your out-breath all the way till the end. Present. Thoughts will come, thoughts will go. Whenever you get distracted, bring your focus back to your breath. Following your out-breath all the way till the end. Moving deeper and deeper into the moment. Notice how you're breathing now. How does the breath feel? Does it feel light or does it feel labored and heavy? Does the breath feel fast or does it feel slow? Stay with the breath. Nothing else needs to be brought to your focus, just the breath in the present moment. Simply by watching your breath, an awareness emerges. Does the breath feel fast or does it feel slow? Does the breath feel long or does it feel short? As best as you can, bring your focus now to the sound of your breath. Try and listen to the in breath as it comes in. Try and listen to the out breath as it goes out. Does the in breath sound the same as the out breath? Listening. Stay with your breath. Next breath out, opening your awareness to all the sounds around you, allowing the sounds to come to you. You don't need to look for them. No judgment, no trying to work it out, no commentary, just listening. Notice where just listening takes you. Notice the qualities of this moment. If it's silent, notice the silence. If it feels still, notice the stillness. The eternal now. That which we are all embedded in. That which is still, that which is peaceful, that which is silent. Notice the absence of fear, anger, the presence of peace, tranquility. Notice the timelessness of this moment. It could last forever. Gently bringing your focus just beneath your nose, becoming present to the breath. Coming back to the present moment. From presence to present moment. On your next breath out, once again becoming aware of your body as best as you can. Notice you're still where you began. The seat holding you in place, supporting you. You can sense your thighs moving down from your knees to your ankles, bringing that space within yourself. From your ankles becoming present to your feet. And then moving to the soles of your feet. Notice the back is straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed and comfortable. Your eyes are still closed, your mouth is still closed, and your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. And now as the breath comes in, we begin to sense our body. As the breath goes out, we sense our body. Allowing that peace, tranquility, silence to penetrate within ourselves. Allowing every cell to benefit from your practice. Sensing your body as the breath comes in, sensing your body as the breath goes out. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw a few deep breaths in, and in your own good time, gently opening your eyes.